if Min Woo Lee had won the Scottish Open and England had won the Euros, I'd have almost felt too greedy. So, welcome to a very unscripted, very random, very late night show of the episode of the Shiels Golf Show podcast.
It is 10 minutes to 11 p.m.
Wow. Me and Guy have been on a few little brewskis.
Mm-hmm.
We are still on the brewskis. So if you want to tune in to the YouTube channel to watch us in a very different location to our studio.
Is it a chalet?
I would classify it as a chalet if it was its posh term. It's a lodge.
Mm-hmm.
We are very pleased and very happy to be down very close to Royal St George's this week here at the Open Championship, the 149th, and doing some work with MasterCard this week. We've got another podcast coming out later this week.
A biggie.
A very biggie. I've got a special guest on there. I managed to interview Victor Hovland, which is going to come out on
Thursday. This should be Wednesday. That should be tomorrow.
Exciting times for everybody. Now, we wanted to treat everybody because we didn't have opportunity to do our normal Tuesday podcast. Lots was going on in the world. First off, England were in the Euros final against Italy.
Yes.
And I decided because I was going to be rough, I expected everyone else to be rough. So I gave everyone the day off on Monday.
Very kind of you.
Kind of backfired because we didn't win the Euros and I wasn't really rough and
No.
it was a horrible day. To be honest, we wouldn't be able to do much anyway, would we?
Could have done a podcast though.
We could have done a podcast. That's a very good shout. So apologise you didn't get your normal Tuesday podcast, but hopefully we're going to make up with it with two fantastic episodes. This episode and then a fantastic episode.
Tonight, well, this one could go one or two ways because you 4 beers deep, 5 beers deep.
I think I'm 5 beers deep, yeah.
Really, you're so deep at the minute.
You are like surprisingly.
I've had 4. This is my 4th cider.
Wow.
But I've been tactical. I've had a few waters in between.
Nice work.
Because we did play 9 holes before.
We did play 9
We had
holes.
buggies, beers, banter,
Butties.
long drives, short drives.
It was an interesting day.
It was.
We played at the golf course that we are staying at. I don't think we should say that yet, just in case we get
There's
some
an
super
influx
fans.
of Rick Shiels fans coming.
Super fans come here tomorrow night. But it's a golf course close by. It's a really nice setting. We're staying in lodges nearby, and we played 9 holes, the back 9. And the first time the golfers that work at Rick Shiels Media, barring Tim, who doesn't play golf, we had a match.
We did.
So it was me and Matt versus you and Harry.
What was the score in the end?
I think we won 3-1.
3-1. Was it?
Did you par the 17th?
Yes.
Yeah, 2-1 then.
Did I par the 17th? Yes, I did.
Or did we win on the hole before that?
What was 17? The par 3?
Little par 3.
Yeah, parred that.
Yeah, we parred that. Anyway, apart from that, nothing else happened.
No, you outdrove.
Nobody hit it longer than me.
Getting short in your old age now, aren't you?
I'm getting really short.
Set the scene. We came to a really good par 4.
Yeah.
And you went, right, let's have a long drive comp.
Yeah.
There's you, medium to long hitter. There's me, medium to long hitter. There's young Matt behind the camera, who's a long hitter. And there's Harry, who's behind the camera, who's a potential long hitter. He's got it in the locker. I stood up, hit one. I said mine was hit well, 93%. It was like not perfect, but I was happy with it. You absolutely crunched yours.
I said I reckon mine was 95%.
So crunched.
Near crunched.
And then Matt absolutely banged one. So he was the longest. He won, fine, whatever. But you were...
I was 1 yard behind you.
Yeah, sure.
How far were you, Matt? 16 yards ahead of you.
He was.
16 yards ahead of me. So you were like 17 yards ahead of me. Christ. Harry didn't, unfortunately, find the fairway. But we'll continue to fight another day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I feel like we've got a lot to discuss. We've kind of started off this really mellow, but we should really be singing, all dancing, because this weekend, the momentous occasion of the 11th of July, even though England did not win the Euros, which I was devastated about, which we'll come on to in a minute.
You became a big football fan in the last 2 weeks.
Huge football fan.
Goes to games and everything.
Go to all the games. I'm a proper England fan. Our boy,
Min Woo Lee.
he won the frigging Scottish Open.
We said he was one of the best golfers, if not the best golfer. we've ever seen up close, and certainly it filmed with. Obviously, we've been fortunate to see like Tiger hit balls at the Open before, but you can't really say that's like, you've not been with him, have you? But we said, and you said, he's the best golf you've ever played with. It's been proven to be right.
He's definitely the best golfer I've ever played with. Did I mention obviously we did the podcast with him, which was a few episodes ago. Hopefully you've heard that. That's the lad. That lad who we did the podcast with has just gone on to win a Rolex Series event. He's won £1 million+ worth of prize money.
£1 million.
Plus. I actually don't know what the total is.
I
heard rumours it was 1.9 million.
I think it's just over £1 million.
So he's now a millionaire, if he wasn't already. He has got access to probably all the majors for next year, I would guess. He got access into this week's Open Championship here at Royal St George's.
Yes.
His world ranking now has gone to like maybe 50 or 60th, roughly.
I don't think it's quite that high. Let me just double check.
No, I think it is.
Is it? I thought it was like 90 yards, but let me just check. You might be right.
He has unlocked the potential to play on a European tour much more, PGA Tour potentially. He's just killed it. And hand on heart, and I mentioned it in the podcast after maybe we filmed with Minwoo Lee and after the podcast, he is hands down the best golfer I've played with so far because his skill level far exceeds anything I can achieve, even close to it.
That birdie he made. So if you didn't see it, I'm sure a lot of people will have done. He won on the first playoff hole against two other guys. Is that right? There was three of them all together, and he made
Matt Fitzpatrick
and Tom Dietrich, whatever. And he made a birdie. Was it like an 18-footer to win, or 15 to 18 footer?
Yeah, maybe a touch closer.
And that was a proper putt, wasn't it? That was one of those putts where he obviously saw the line, committed to it, and just boxed it off.
Yeah.
To win £1 million.
Shoots 64 in the final round.
It's outrageous golf, that.
Gets into the playoff. Could have easily won it outright. He left it on the lip on the 72nd hole. Just on the lip agonisingly. 3-man playoff. Loads of pressure. Playoffs can recently have been going a long way. We've mentioned a couple of times on the PGA Tour. I think there was 7 holes recently, a playoff. Like, 3-man playoff can go for many, many, many holes. He steps up there, bombs driver down the 73rd hole, the first playoff hole. It's a beautiful iron shot into, like I say, 12 foot or so.
3 perfect shots.
Boxes it. Legend.
How chuffed were you on a scale of 1 to 12?
It really helped me overcome the disappointment of Sunday evening, and knowing that I can't have both things happen in one day. Like, if Minwoo Lee had won the Scottish Open and England had won the Euros, I'd have almost felt too greedy. I'd have always felt
too perfect.
Like that's too much. I had an Indian that night. I had friends around. We had loads of drinks. The kids were having a great time. Like, if England would have won as well as Minwoo Lee winning, I just don't think that could have worked. So I apologise to everyone listening. It's kind of my fault that England didn't win.
Yes.
Because I wanted Minwoo Lee to win so much.
I must admit, I didn't watch much of the golf bar Sunday. I got really into it. And I don't normally get that behind somebody, but because we'd filmed with him, we'd spent some time with him, we had like food with him, we kind of got to know him to some degree. I did feel really invested, and when he won, I actually was unbelievably chuffed. And I put a bet on him for the Open. So if he wins the Open, I'll be even more chuffed.
We'll talk about bets. One of our fantastic listeners, I don't actually know his name, I don't think I got it, who put in the Facebook podcast group, okay? Because a lot of people who listen to the podcast have rightly so become huge Minwoo Lee fans.
Of course.
Huge. If you've not seen the videos I did with him, he featured the Break 75 at Kings Barnes, which we titled My Perfect Round of Golf. And he also was my phenomenal playing partner when we played St Andrews in reverse. I mean, that's only me and the new Scottish Open champion who have done that recently.
Yeah.
Just flex. Somebody in the podcast group put a bet on him at, let me work out the odds here. I don't really know the odds. Anyway, in long story short, he won £10,400.
Oh my days.
I think he put £400 on Minwoo Lee to win each way at 200 to 1. Does that sound about right? No,
50.
He put £200 on each way, so the total stake was £400.
Right.
He bet. He had him at 41 to 1 to win.
Oh yeah, so it must have been during
Sound about right?
the third round or something. I'm
and
guessing.
he won £10,400.
That's outrageous.
You're welcome, that listener.
Should give us a cut, really.
You are welcome. So yeah, really happy for Minwoo Lee. I managed to message him. We had a few little exchanges. I actually met his sister, who we mentioned on the podcast. I met her at Centurion just the week before, because we actually went down and we've got some videos. I feel like we've got a load of talk.
There's a lot
here.
happened since last week.
So last week we went to the
Aramco
event down at Centurion. I've had a few beers. And that was one of the first events we've covered for a long time.
Since well before COVID.
Well, no, the only one I did was Wentworth.
Yeah, but
Westwood.
But that was when the event was on. Was that practice round or fair dues? Then,
no. The event wasn't officially on. It was a practice round.
Yeah, okay,
but there was no
fair dues.
spectators or anything.
So yeah, it was an event. Didn't feel this felt a bit more like even still a practice round. We went, but it was people were going. It felt more kind of real. And you're a bit of a lucky charm.
I didn't. You know what? For a while, I've kind of suspected it. But recently, I think it's confirmed it.
Why? Well, explain this to me then. So, right, we had Minwoo Lee, just mentioned.
Correct.
Won. Filmed with Rick Shiels recently.
I filmed with him two times. We did a podcast with him. He goes and wins one of the biggest events of the year.
On the LPGA Tour this weekend, I'll try and say her name correctly, Nasa Hatakotcha.
Correct.
Won on the LPGA Tour.
Who, before Minwoo Lee, I would honestly say was the most impressive golfer I've ever played.
I'd agree. She was awesome.
She won, though, slight default, because the event got called off after 54 holes.
She still won.
But she still won.
And she played
That's
with
my
you
lucky charm.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so this weekend, this week just gone, you went to the Aramco, which is actually a ladies' European Tour event. Is it co-sanctioned with the LPGA as well?
I think there's just some LPGA players that
come
get
over
invited.
There's big purses.
Because there's quite a bit of money involved.
Big money. And it's weirdly, it's 3 pros play together with 1 amateur. And there's a captain of each team, I believe.
36 captains in total. And they get to do almost a draft pick at the start of the week.
They pick 2 pros and then 1 amateur gets chucked in.
Yeah. I was invited to be one of the amateurs to play.
Of +1.
But I decided not to.
You still went had a good time, though, for the practice round. And we filmed a video, which won't be out yet, well, it's not out yet, with Olivia Cowan.
Yes.
And how did she get on in the event, Rick?
Oh, yeah. She won. Yeah, she won the team event. So Olivia Cowan, I did a video with her where, a bit similar to the Westwood video we did at Wentworth, where I caddied for her for 5 holes. We tried to shoot under par. Weirdly, this week she didn't have a caddy. So I could have actually been a caddy.
She actually pull a trolley all the time.
She pulled the trolley and cleaned her own clubs
days.
and picked her own distances. And
save money.
Save money. I had messaged her after and said, not only did you win, but you also managed to save some money because you didn't have to pay a caddy.
That's ridiculous.
She went on to win the event. Like I said, I think it was a massive purse, which was crazy. The video, people are going to really enjoy that video. I enjoyed making it, and I feel like if I really enjoy making it, it typically comes out in the video, and it's normally a really well-received video.
I tell you what I always think when we've not been to many women's, well, I haven't been to many women's tournaments, but I've been to a handful now. When you see them on the range, which we did again at that event at Aramco, I almost think it's more impressive than watching the men.
Yeah.
Because the swing's obviously a bit slower, but they're so smooth, and they get so much from the speed they generate into ball speed, into distance, and they're so accurate. And we also spent some time with Anne Van Dam, which is another video coming soon.
Yeah. So Anne Van Dam, if you don't know, she's the longest lady tour player on the LET, definitely, on the LPGA last year for certain. Not currently on the LPGA, just because she's not played in many events.
Yeah.
But she total distance in the US and on the LPGA at 290 odd yards.
She mullers it.
And in the UK, or the LET, shall say, on the European Tour, she's averaging about 280 odd yards. She swings it ridiculous.
Unbelievably pure.
So we did almost like a mini documentary, almost like an interview style, which again might come out this week. We'll see how it works. We've got quite a few bits in the edit at the moment. But she was fantastic to spend time with. She was really good. She's playing in the first ever Olympics this year, representing Holland. I don't think she did great in the event. My luck can't extend that far. Do you know what I mean?
Of course not.
I'm only. I mean, she'll probably win this week, right? Yeah. So she's gone back over to the LPGA this week, actually. So that was a really fun video. Then after we filmed that evening, I managed to grab a ticket to one of the hottest, that was the right word, one of the hottest tickets in the world.
Yeah.
So And I want to clear this up. A lot of people say, oh, you're getting a ticket because of corporate. I managed to get a ticket to the semi-final, England versus Denmark at Wembley, and it was absolutely incredible.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
So let me explain, because I heard of people saying, oh, look at you corporate ticket, you're not even that big of a football fan. I was a huge football fan.
You're a
in
massive
the past.
football fan.
I fell out of love with football.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in love with football.
Yes.
At the
It'll
moment,
be gone by next week.
At the moment, I'm in a little breakup period because obviously the result didn't go our way in the end. But I managed to get a ticket. So a friend of mine who was an ex-client of mine, Dan Rigby, who listens to the show, by the way. So big shout out to Dan. Like, massive shout out. I feel like I owe him a lot, and it's going to sting me in the butt at some point. So he went to the Germany match. The very next day, I saw it on his Instagram, and the very next day, weirdly, he texted me asking about a golf question. So I replied back to him, and I went, oh, by the way, how did you get a ticket to the Germany match? He went, well, actually, funny story. I've got tickets from I should have had tickets for the 2020 European Championship, but I've now got your tickets for the semi-final and the final. I'm like, oh my God. I said, listen, if you hear of any tickets, let me know, because I really want to go. Because weirdly, I was down in London. I was like, I desperately want to go. A couple of days later, he texted me saying, I've got a spare ticket. Do you want it? I'm like, yes, 100%. I said, what do you want for it? He went, nothing. So I feel like he's got an ace in his card where, like, I'll get a ticket to like the Masters one time and he'll want to come with me.
But
that's okay. I'll live with that. The atmosphere was out of this world.
It looked ridiculous.
Oddly enough, at a golf event, at a football event, I mean, we've seen it slightly today. We went to Royal St. George's, which we'll touch on in a minute, but we'll dive more into on that on Thursday's podcast.
Yeah.
Whether it was because people were more drunk, even though I was at a football event, I've never been spotted more times ever in my life than I was at Wembley. Pictures, people coming up to me, Ricky!
Ricky!
I feel like I'm more Ricky when people are drunk.
Yeah.
But atmosphere was electric. Obviously, we won the match. I went out into town later in London.
Sauce, pure sauce.
I was out till about 2:30 a.m.
How many sauce did you have? Double figures.
Yeah, it was saucy. And then it was just class. Really, like I say, really great atmosphere. And I think you even asked me a question afterwards. Does it compare to the Ryder Cup? Because you spoke to me on the phone after. I said that. Even though I could barely talk because my throat was just like.
It did sound very rough.
Just all the shouting, all the screaming, all the cheering, the chanting. I've learned a lot of new words.
You know all the songs.
I know all the songs. Yeah, I know everything now. A proper football fan.
Well, that's why you had a Millwall tattoo on your arm now.
And you asked me, is the atmosphere better then or the Ryder Cup?
And your answer was
100% Wembley at that point.
And you went to have you been to 2 Ryder Cups?
Been to 3 Ryder Cups.
Celtic Manor, France.
Celtic Manor, Belfry,
Belfry.
And not Belfry, sorry.
Have you been to 2?
I have, because I didn't do Glen Eagles. Sorry, I've been to 2. Celtic Manor in France. The first tee, I was lucky enough to be there Friday morning, first tee France, like mega early. That was ridiculously amazing atmosphere, but it was a different atmosphere.
Do you think it's different because with the football, it's like you're so passionate for your country, whereas with the Ryder Cup, obviously you want Europe to win, but you're more ecstatic just be at the event. Correct. If you get me.
Yeah, I found it really difficult to understand, certainly at the Ryder Cup, how the players could, because it's so slow. Like, you have to get a ball and put it in the ground. Yeah. And you've got to do a practice swing, and you've got to hit a great shot in front of tens and tens of thousands of people. And you've got all that time, and that everything must be going through your mind. Even though the ball's not moving, I found it phenomenal that they can stand up there and hit a great shot. Mm. Where in football, everything happens like that.
Yeah.
Bar penalties, which we won't talk about.
Penalties.
But like everything happens, you've got to react so quickly, haven't you?
Yeah, I get that.
So that was amazing. And then we have made the journey down here today. I feel like everyone's getting a little bit tired.
My left eye's going saggy. I feel dead tired.
I can see Matt snoozing in the corner already.
He looks out of it.
We, like I say, I filmed yesterday, which will be coming out Thursday, an interview with Victor Hovland, which was really good.
Yes.
So if my lucky charm's working,
he'll win the Open.
He's got to.
Back him.
Him or Minwoo.
I've got somebody on Minwoo. I think he's going to do it. Well, the bets I've got come up to top 12. So if you go each way,
Can you name a player who's won the Scottish then the Open?
Has it been done before?
Yeah, fairly recently. Left-hander.
I was going to say Phil Mickelson. I was going to say that, but I didn't do.
He won the Scottish then the Open the week
yeah.
after. So that's going to come out Thursday, and then we drove down here today, 5.5 hours to get down here,
Long
which is a
drive
massive
for us.
trek. So the Open this year, certainly if you're listening from America, let's set the scene of where the Open is this year.
So it's the very southeast of England, so it's a long way down and quite a long way to the east.
Yeah,
and it's a hard place for us who are from the northwest. It's like the opposite end of the country totally. It wasn't a bad drive in terms of traffic, but long. Was it 270 miles for us roughly, something like that?
So it's right in the corner. It's on a patch of real estate which has some phenomenal golf courses on. So you got Prince's, Royal St George's. I'm going to butcher the name slightly on this one. It's Port Sink, Royal Sink.
Royal Port Sink. Or
Royal Port Sink.
Something, I don't know.
Like 3 golf courses there that are all phenomenal apparently. And Royal St George's hosted the Open 10 years ago when Darren Clark won.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those venues. I don't know the golf course that well. I've never played it, so I don't really know many of the holes. We had a little glimpse at 1 and 18.
It looks pure though. The bunkers, the greens, the fairway.
It looks very green. It looks very difficult. It was a little bit breezy out there today. The forecast this week is very dry, so the only thing that's going to defend it is wind.
Yes.
The rough looks astronomically hard. Like ridiculous, because we played golf tonight just up the road, 28 minutes up the road at the golf course we're at today, and the rough here was brutal, like really brutal. So the Open Championship this week, I honestly think the rough is going to be the big factor.
For me, it is. I've said this before. It's my favourite major. It's between the Open and the Masters, but it is my favourite major. But a lot of people, obviously like Matt and Harry are with us today, have never been to an Open or a golf event, a proper golf event. For me, the Open, it's just special. And obviously last year we didn't have it. This year we have, so it's great that it's back. But just walking around, and we went to the range, we watched Bryson smacking driver. Now, obviously everybody listening knows Bryson hits it a mile. But watching it in real life, I would say, truthfully, hits it appears to be anyway, double the height of an average like golf shot. When you see like a good golfer at a golf club smack a driver, it looks double the height, doesn't it? Did you see him properly before?
I did. It was hard to spot at first because we weren't super close to him. But you're right, the hang time he had. Now, whether that's going to help him round a golf course like this week, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
He might just try and brute it his way around.
Can you do that, though? Well,
typically open golf courses aren't super long. So it's not the length that protects it. It's if you're offline, you're not in a fluffy line in the rough. Do you know what I mean? You're in
bunkers as well a lot of the time.
Thick rough. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting week. We spent a bit of time in the merchandise tent.
You did. You got your wallet out. It was really nice of you.
You're welcome. What did you get again?
I got a random Adidas t-shirt, but whereas you got the 3 like stripes, the logo, it was 3 golf club heads.
Nice.
Quite good. Might wear it tomorrow.
I got this hat.
Copy.
If you want to watch, no, this is nice. This is classy. This one. So if you want to watch on the YouTube, you can see my hat. Treated Harry and Matt to some bits as well. So hopefully it's going to be a good week. We're down here till Friday. Got a little bit of social media planned. Looking forward to meeting more people when they're down here. If you do see me around and about, come and say hello. Come and see Guy. If you want to buy us a beer.
Yep.
I won't say no.
Oh, I won't have the beer, but I'll have the money that you would give me for a beer.
I get you.
So £2.50. Perfect.
You're joking?
£5.50. More, whatever.
I
was thinking of Northwest prices then.
I was going to say, we're down south and we're at the Open. It's probably about $7.50 a pint. So it should be a good fun week. What else have we covered? Anything else? Was there anything else that we need to talk about?
Not massively. That's not a good thing to say. Not massively. I think we've run out with everything to say. We've got a lot of Facebook questions.
Okay, should we fire through?
Yeah, let's fire through. It feels weird because part of me is really enjoying the chat. Part of me is a bit tired, but I want to power through.
How long have you actually been running for, Matt? Okay, let's jump for another 10 more.
Let's go. Right, okay. So there's been a lot of questions on Facebook. Sean Harris, what's the best course you've ever played, Rick?
Unpopular choice, but it is the best golf course I've ever played. Trump International in Aberdeen.
Don't know why I asked that one. I asked that loads of times.
I'm sure people say, why is it the unpopular choice? It's just because it's got the name Trump to it. I'm not political, so I don't know the ins and outs of what's happening in America or whatever else or around the world, but I know he's a very polarizing figure. So,
bit of a standard question, but I think it's a good one. I don't think we've quite covered yet from Justin Bignell. Who is going to win the Open? You said you Minwoo Lees, but is that who you
No,
honestly
genuinely,
believe?
right now, hand on heart, even though I've not put a bet on him, I think John Rahm's going to win.
Mm-hmm. For
I
what?
I just think his game's so good at the moment. You know, he's proven record on links golf courses. He won the Irish Open a couple of years ago. Obviously, just coming off the back of the US Open win. I just feel like his game is so good. He's world number one. He's in a real happy place. The Europeans love him when he comes back over here. I just think he's just a different level. He has every aspect of the game: strength, power, creativity, skill, putting, short game, prowess. I think he's hard to stop. And I know it's not a big shout. He's number one in the world. Like, it's not. I'm not putting my neck out on the line here, but I just think he's got everything he needs to have to win an Open Championship.
Big question from David Paul. I've seen this a lot recently, creeping up online on Twitter,
Okay,
Facebook.
Not beef.
Thoughts on the Garmin R10 device?
I've seen a lot of these tweets. So let me just put everyone's mind at rest. The Garmin R10, which if you don't know about it, it's a new launch monitor, portable launch monitor that costs £500. It's not only a launch monitor that you can set up just like solo and connect it to your phone. There's also ways of connecting it to a simulator software. I have been in the process we did some beta testing a few months ago, and there was a couple of things that needed addressing. Those things now have thankfully been addressed. The version that's coming out now is the all singing, all dancing. I'm in the process of testing. Content, reviews, everything will be coming very soon.
Can we just talk a little bit about some of the testing we did? Because I was impressed. So we went to the Marriott Golf Club. We go a lot on film. And we went onto the driving range.
We did.
And we were testing it. You had a device, an early kind of sample, if you like. So you're giving some feedback. Obviously, people know you're a Garmin ambassador. So you get sent their products early. They value your feedback. Anything you think good or bad or indifferent, you feed that back, and that helps them make better product, basically. Which is you loved. You're in your element when you do that. Yeah,
we did something that was really fun that I've actually never done before.
So right, wanted to test this Garmin R10. So you had your GC Quad, which is the all signal dancing like launch monitor, really, isn't it? It's £20,000.
Well, I think if you bought it actually on its own, just the device, it's like 15,000. But once you add all the extras on, all the software and everything else, it's like 20 grand.
It's very expensive, but it's the absolute pinnacle, if you like, of golf launch monitors. It's so accurate. It's just brilliant, and it for coaching, for fitting, etc. So we had that one, and we had this Garmin R10, which you said about £500.
It is.
We paced out 50 yards, paced out 100 yards, and we paced out 150 yards.
But not only that, we paced it out and lasered it with the Z82.
Yes.
Which is also a Garmin product. But we made sure we were pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
We put an open umbrella down.
Yeah.
Very on brand, all of this.
Hit balls to each thing, and then you would stand, like say if I was going for the 50 yard, you would watch me hit it and go, right, that's bounced 1 yard in front, so it was 49, it was definitely 49 yards. We'd look at the numbers of the Garmin R10 versus GC Quad. It was very, very close.
Yeah. So,
very good.
If that's not a little teaser, I don't know what it is, so stay tuned, there'll be content coming very soon.
Just a quick note on that then. Do you think there obviously is a place to market, but what do you think of these kind of cheaper, well, I say cheap, but they're obviously still a lot of money, but cheaper launch monitors? Do you think there's something that golfers, certainly amateur golfers, should be looking at, or can it start to confuse people too much with things like the angle of attack, the launch, the spin? What's your take on it as a PJ Pro?
You're spot on. I've seen less. What's the right word? I've seen golfers who, and I like to rate this. Like, I feel like a lot of golfers have not only a golf handicap, but they also almost have like a golf intelligence handicap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, a lot of people's golf intelligence handicap is through videos and education and self-learning is quite low. Like, people do understand the concepts of swing path, face angles, angles of attack, all of that stuff now. They do.
Yeah.
Other people don't, and that's fine. No, they don't need to know it. I think when it gets confusing is if you go into a device like a GC Quad or this new R10 or whatever it may be, when it's got so much data, it's understanding that data and knowing what is relevant to you, which is the biggest challenge, because everyone wants to know, all right, well, how far do I hit it? What's my club head speed? But then as soon as you start getting into angle attack and spin rate and spin axes and club face rotation. Like, these numbers are crazy.
It's a lot in it.
And like I say, as a pro, I can take all those numbers on board and know what to pick from and know what to choose, and then use that information to help educate my player that's in front of me. I fear sometimes if a higher handicapper golfer, and not only ability higher handicapper, but mental ability higher handicapper, if they got on that device, that might be quite challenging for them. But yeah, it's one of those things. Hopefully everyone can learn a little bit from it.
Like you said, though, the simple thing is with those, they give you your carry distance, your total distance, etc. Surely that's got to help. If you know how far you're hitting your irons, that's got to help your game, surely.
100%.
There's a lot of questions. Somebody,
I'm just laughing at Harry and Matt.
They look out. Matt looks absolutely goosed. Jake has asked, "Who's your favourite golfer right now?" And you can't say Minwoo Lee, so don't say Minwoo Lee.
Who's my favourite golfer right now? Matt's trying to flex his muscles. You're on my team today and we won, so you carried us actually. Who's my favourite golfer? I know it sounds weird, and I said it not that long ago, so I don't feel like it's too weird. And weird that we've got him on next week's podcast or next episode. I really like Victor Hovland. I just think he's cool. I think I like what he's doing. I really like Colin Morikawa. Never met him yet. Love to meet him one time, but I just think he's got a right attitude. I like a lot of the young kids, like Matt Wolf. I really like.
Yeah.
Like, I like a lot of these kind of young 20-year-olds who've hit the scene and kind of not scared to go and win, not scared to post a number, not scared to do anything really. Yeah. And you know what? I quite like Pulse. Like, I do quite like Ian Poulter, probably more on social media than maybe, I don't want to say in real life because I've only met him a couple of times, but like,
you see, it shows a lot behind the scenes in his life, doesn't he? Does that well.
I like that, and I think he does a good job of it.
Barry Bradley has asked us, when will we draw the winners of the Moto Caddy? But we've done that. That was quite a number of weeks. When we had tubes on, I think. Yeah. So that was, and they've been contacted and they're all getting sorted. Richard Gange has asked, will you be reviewing the TaylorMade 300 Mini driver? Well, actually, I had an email today. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
That we've been sent the sample one, so possibly look at doing something with. Weird, isn't it, mini drivers? I've not seen, well, I've seen obviously images of it, not held that one, put it behind the ball or anything yet. We've not got the sample yet, the one that you might do a review on. They're weird, aren't they? You know what you're giggling at?
I'm just laughing at Matt. It was absolutely goose. How long have you got left in you?
Hours.
You've not got hours left in you. For me, I just feel like they're a bit of a fad. But they must be selling.
Yeah, that's what we said last week.
Like, they must be selling.
For me, I think they're a waste of time.
Yeah.
Hit your 3-wood or get a lesson at your driver. Yeah. But like we said, TaylorMade, you know, they're all about profits, like most businesses are, obviously. They're not going to make products still that just doesn't sell.
You know what was a really, really, really good product that never continued? And honestly, I think if they still sold it now, it would crush it.
Go on.
What would you think?
Is it a TaylorMade thing or?
It was a TaylorMade thing, but any brand could do this.
Not high, obviously. Our Rescues hybrids still going
in the driver range.
Go on, I don't know.
So do you remember when TaylorMade brought out 16-degree driver?
Oh yeah, well, was that not because that was because, wasn't it? The slider was so low spin.
But it was it was an unbelievable club. Like, for so many slow swingers, it's unbelievable because you got the massive head. Yeah, it launches a bit higher, but it's so easy to hit. I wish more brands would bring out a very lofted driver.
Yeah, that's a good shout. So I'm just scrolling through these. Anything else to say, Rick? Somebody said, did Guy win the shit shirt contest? I've got quite a bold shirt on. So if you're listening, you want to see that, click over to the YouTube video. Someone said, are you at Pontins? No, it's much nicer than Well, I've never been to Pontins, but I get it's probably nicer. Have you been to was that, you not go a while ago?
What was the one that my missus? What was the one that Claire went to that time in Southport, and I had to drag her back because it's horrendous.
Yeah, that was
Butlins. That was Butlins. That was shocking. I've been to Pontins. It was nice.
Someone's asked, did Rick loan your cap? No, we just got one that's very similar, probably a bit more of an upmarket version than mine. Any news on the Rick Shiels merch from Scott? Yes, there is news. It's coming soon, isn't it?
Hopefully,
it is. It's coming soon.
Well, I've been. If you see me at the Open this week, and this is a podcast exclusive, so I'm not posted anywhere else. I've got a pocket full of treats.
You don't want to know what they are.
You might be disappointed when you get one. Well, I've got a pocket full of treats. So if you come up to me and say, can I have a picture? Or, hey, Rick.
Can I have a treat?
Like, if you say to me, hey, Rick, have you got any of the good stuff?
Yeah.
you got any like good stuff in your pocket?
Oi, Rick, got any of the good stuff? Look for the man with a cap on and a Millwall tattoo on his left bicep, and ask him for the good stuff, and he'll put you in the right direction. There's just a lot of questions. The problem is with these questions, there's some really good ones which you've answered, but a lot of them we've done in recent podcasts. So I kind of don't want to ask that one was actually, what your favourite golf course? As I said that, I remember we've done that quite recently.
It might have changed though.
So tomorrow we will do a little bit more. So tomorrow's podcast Thursdays, as Rick said, we've got Victor. You've had a really good chat with Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
I've not heard that yet, so I want to listen to that. I'm excited for
good.
that. But we're going to go a bit more in depth about the Open, what we've liked so far, I'll say what we've not liked. There's not much to not like, I don't think.
Maybe a top 5 things to do at the Open.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So that can be in tomorrow's podcast. Because like I say, how long do we spend there today? Like 2 hours.
A few hours, but not
we have
not
to do
loads.
we have to obviously do a little bit of work. We're doing some work with MasterCard, which again you'll listen to in the next podcast, which is a great initiative for the Open and for people around the world. Like it's a good positive feeling thing that's taking place.
Interesting as well.
It was actually. So yeah, podcast tomorrow. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. How long have we been running for, Matt? I'm happy with that.
It's a short and sweet.
It's getting late.
It's currently 25 past 11. I'm not in bed for 11.
And you guys charge a lot for overtime, right?
Massively, yeah.
You're on double time right now?
Yep.
Triple time? Harry wants good triple time right now. Right, thanks for listening, everyone.
Any other things? Only last thing, actually, just quickly. Tomorrow's is this Open special with Victor. Next week, we'll be back to kind of a proper normal at the studio. So if you've got any nightmare golf stories, dear Ricks, stupid golf rules, send them in. podcast@rickshiels.com.
How are you, question for you.
Go on.
How are you feeling after the kind of...
After last week?
Peter
Oh.
Finch podcast?
Well, if we're going there. No.
Going there.
No. Obviously, last week, we had 2 out this week, didn't we? We had the first one with Pete, which is when he sat down and we spoke about the one that we did at episode 82, where I spoke about his game and stuff like that. And then episode 84 was when we had the normal kind of Pete came on as a guest. It was very laughing and joking.
Did that go down really well?
That's gone down well, yeah. 83, so I had a hell of a lot of comments that were negative, which I'm sure a lot of people have seen. There was like 1,200 comments.
Was there?
And I got absolutely destroyed in the comments.
Ouch.
Obviously, it gets you down to some degree, 'cause it's not nice seeing loads of people saying bad things about you. The one that but it's a weird one because everyone's entitled to opinion. So I had an opinion about Pete and stuff. Not about Pete, but about his game, which didn't go down very well. And I do sometimes, obviously, I looked back at it and thought it wasn't, some of it I'd said didn't come out very well. I didn't articulate myself as well as I should have done. But also, things that you say, a lot of people take the wrong way. And that's obviously hard. And you never know as well, because for every bad comment you get, there's 10 people who loved it who just don't comment.
A lot of people...
Like had a lot of DMs off
met
people.
a guy in Liverpool who gave you really nice words.
But then what those? There's some guy that said something like, I deleted this one. He said something like, I hope guy gets sacked by Rick, has no money, and his new wife leaves him.
Wow.
You think like, why? But then
that's a proper triple whammy.
But ones like that don't bother me because I think genuinely now,
it almost doesn't make sense.
No, but how sad must your life to be, where you either genuinely wish that someone you've never met gets sacked, his new wife leaves him, or it's upset you that much. If I said something really bad on the podcast, fair enough. But of course. I didn't, did I?
Well, first off, let me be the first person. I know I've said it to you off camera. We at Rick Shiels Golf Show appreciate everything you do. Because there wouldn't be a podcast without you.
Thank you.
Because you produce it, you put all the questions together, you make us do it. I mean, you're slaving us to do it right now at 11:30 at night, so I appreciate it. No, but genuinely, everyone listening, everyone watching, Guy does a tremendous job behind the scenes. And just because he has an opinion about somebody doesn't mean that he's a bad person. You're a fantastic individual, and you don't deserve any of the hate that you got last week. So keep it up. And like I say, it's not always going to be to everyone's liking. And that's what an opinion is. It's a podcast, and people say you should have been sticking up for your friend Rick. It's like, yeah, but everyone's got an opinion.
I think
it wasn't unjustified. Like, it was a grown up adult chat. And we had it out, and if Pete wasn't comfortable with it or everyone else, it would have been aired out.
Well, there was two other things that kind of annoyed me a bit. The first one, people saying he didn't treat him like a guest. It's like, well, that's true in a way, I get that. But it shouldn't. It doesn't feel like Pete is a guest. We
He's
know
a-
him.
he's-
He's like a
exactly.
mate and stuff. He's more obviously mates with you, but I kind of treat him as a kind of a mate when I'm with him. And then also the next one, it was a guest, if you like. We had that kind of more. How do you play golf and all that stuff. But then again, you can't read the comments too much. But what got me down a bit was people saying like, "Guy needs to shut up and let a guest speak." Well, they didn't say that when we had David Cannon on, or Dan Webster, or James Robinson, or Sophie Walker, or Tubes, or all these other people where I have sat back and let the guest speak. It was one that might not be my best work, and I do look back at it and think I wish I'd said things differently. But I don't know. You can't take it to heart, can you? Too much.
No, I think you do a mega job, and like I say, it's makes things interesting. Like if everyone had the same opinion, it'd be boring.
I think what I also last thing on this though, what I hate, and it's my own fault, and you can't help this, is like checking the comments.
Oh, it's horrendous.
You know that they're there, and like that day after when we were at the Aramco, I was really down, as you could tell. I was constantly checking, and there's loads of comments. It's like, oh, but anyway, I don't think people. But then what's also, I'm not going to name anybody's name. I had quite a few like negative comments and things on like Instagram, and I replied to people, and they say, "Oh my god, I didn't know you'd reply. Thanks so much." And then like followed me and stuff, and it's like, well, if you're gonna be nasty, like, you get what I mean?
At least back it up.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be nasty, don't like turn back on it. At least go for
Anyway,
it.
it's all that's gone now. Hopefully, we'll be on to more positive podcasts. Tomorrow's is a monster. I've not heard the bit with Victor yet. I'm looking forward to hearing that. But yeah, it should be good.
But like I say, you do a great job, so do not worry about any negativity. And the Clips on podcast got shed loads of views for that. So thanks for that.
That is what I'm here to do.
That is literally what you're here to do. Right, guys, thanks for listening. If you've listened this far, well done. Not our finest work, but we chat a couple of guys sat on a sofa, two lads behind the camera, absolutely knackered.
Can't get over. Matt looks absolutely
Can
stoned.
can you just spin to Matt? Look how tired he is. Yeah, back tomorrow. We'll fill you in a bit more with what happened at the Open, our first actual proper day there, and interview with Victor, which went down really well.
Yeah, it's hot in here as well. Really hot.
Right, we've got some more Sambuca, tequila to drink, and then off to bed.
Yeah.
Peace out, everyone. Enjoy your afternoon. Imagine listening to this chat at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I feel sorry.
Well, this will
for
be
you.
out at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's now 11:30, so Matt's got to upload it, and then it's out in an hour
He'll
and
be
a half.
asleep. He'll be
Yeah.
asleep. No, it's just they'll just put it on a podcast first.
Put it on podcast. It'll be on the video about 9-10 o'clock in the morning.
Whenever Matt gets up. Right. Thanks, everybody.
Rate us 5 stars because I had a 1-star review. Somebody called me a ferret face.
Stop.
Please don't call me the ferret man anymore. Can't take it.
To be fair, that I shouldn't have wrote that. That one was a bit nasty.
Yeah.
Right, everyone. Peace out and cheers.